Good morning, peepettes. Anybody else on the spectrum, and just whatever state the world's in, whatever. Hope everybody's well. It's another nice sunny day, a bit cooler at the moment. Supposed to warm up later, but we'll see. I'll go out in a bit and have a wonder. This is, if I may, and obviously I'm not of any particular persuasion or in any particular position to give, but if I may, this could be a bit of advice or a suggestion to any, shall we say, white British people and Europeans, but this is going out to my British counterparts at the moment. But with the state of affairs in France, with Marine Le Pen being barred from running, that Georgescu, I think, in Romania, and so on and so forth, it's pretty much hitting us across Europe, across westernized Europe. People that are proud of their nations, and so it's going out to a generation of probably 35, 40 plus, probably about the last generation that was proud to be their nationality, to love their history of their country, good or bad, because you learn from it. That's the whole point of history. But like I say, this is going. It's a bit of a mumble. It's going out to my British comrades, compatriots, and so on and so forth. So there's recently since August last year, when everything went, when we had enough at that point, and it was brought to a head by the horrific slaughter of 3 beautiful little angels, let them rest in peace, up in Southport by that person. But recently, then there was things like grandmas was getting arrested for tweets, people was getting arrested for saying certain things on the internet, for saying certain things in public. People were simply saying things like, we don't agree with the government. Boom. He was getting done for anti-establishment rhetoric, I think was the phrase used in one of the cases. People were getting anywhere between 12 weeks and up to 7.5 years. I mean, the higher end was predominantly for some of the violent offences, which obviously was one. Understandable, maybe, if your family had been affected in places like Oldham, Rotherham, Rochdale. Understandable, but one, And then, it's been going on. Then there's all the talk of the banter police coming in, and this new Employees' Right Act, I think it's Section 8 or 18, where if an employee feels upset by something that they hear, so somebody like in a cafe or a shop or a pub, and they report that I've gone in and I said, I'm sick of this country, it's doing my head in. Keir Starmer prefers to talk about Eid rather than talking about Mother's Day. And that person gets upset, she can report it. The proprietor of that particular place has to then give me a warning, and I think also is obliged to report it to the police. So it goes down as a hate crime against my record, against my name, whatever. And then, like I say, you fast forwarding through all this bullshit, all this quagmire of what are we allowed to say, what aren't we allowed to say without actually being told. And then there was the 2 parents recently arrested, I'm not sure where they was, for having a WhatsApp group chat and questioning the school's enrolment policy or employment policy or something. Well, there's a story up here in my area where a father has just been charged because I think it was about 45, 46, it said, and he had a 14-year-old daughter, and she took her home from school, from senior school, secondary school, and it stated during the past month of Ramadan that they was going to some, I presume, I think it said some mosque or some Muslim education centre locally, probably out Scully Way, I think, because that's what it was before. And they was going to learn about Ramadans, about the Muslim life. They was going to quote the Quran and all this, but this letter needed the parents' signature to allow it. Well, apparently this father refused. Sent the letter back in with, I do not give permission for my daughter to attend this thing. So he was called in school. The girl took it and he was called. She didn't want to do it as well, apparently. This is the point. She didn't want to do it, but she was being forced into it by the school. When she explained it to her father, he just said, my daughter doesn't want to do it. I don't want her to be taking part in stuff like that. He was called into school. Him and his wife apparently asked to explain his stance. So he says, we're a Christian family. It's not that I've got anything against that religion or that ethnicity, that group, but I don't want my daughter dressing up in the gear. I don't want my daughter reading the Quran. We read the Bible. We attend a Christian church in this area. The school said, well, no, she has to do it as part of the curriculum or something. And he says, well, why have you requested my permission then if it's a forced thing? And they went, well, you need to allow it. And he says, well, I don't allow it. She doesn't want to do it. I don't want to allow it. He got reported. The girl got excluded from school for a couple of days. He got reported to the police, arrested and charged with, I don't know, it didn't state, but I'm going to go along the lines of Islamophobia, hate, racism, bigotry, blah, 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 any other word they could throw at a white native. So this is where my, not pompous, but my pretentious or whatever, my warning comes from. People of this generation, so like I say, 35, 40 upwards, white natives of any European land, who are sick to the back teeth of this demographic change, which is basically a form of genocide in all but the slaughter of the people. It's about removing them, minoritising us, minimalising us. The police are coming after you for having a point of view. And this is because a few people have said, this is the British side of it, the UK side of it. A few people have stated there's something happening. Last year's Southport attacks was to test the wall. I think it was Gobster Talks on YouTube said this. Last year's Southport attacks was a tester to see the public's response, the natives' response to a situation where we weren't told the truth, where the truth was kept from us, where we was force-fed lies and bullshit by the bucket load. But something's coming this summer. Now, we've had mass attacks in the UK. We've had the 7/7 London bombings. We've had London Bridge a few times. The Ariana Grande concert. And like I say, culminating, we've had Lee Rigby slaughtered, a soldier in the British forces slaughtered on the streets of the UK. There was another attack that I don't even think it's gone to court yet, that one. And that was in Gillingham last year. We've had umpteen terrorist attacks by people from the faith of peace upon the British public. There was the Ariana Grande thing, like I said, in Manchester, and then culminating at the end of July last year, with the slaughter of the 3 little beautiful angels who had their whole life ahead of them, plus the attempted murder of 8 other children and 2 adults at the same time. Something big is coming this summer. You can see in the way that the mainstream media, the politics, even our sovereign, King Charles, everything's leaning towards Islam. Everything's leaning towards Islamifying the United Kingdom. There was even Muslims praying on the grass at one of the big churches in London. I can't remember which one it was. That was recorded recently. Something's coming, right? And it is going to tilt the balance between wanting a peaceful protest and outright bloody civil war, where the country will burn to the ground before it's reborn, and whichever way it's reborn, it will burn to the ground. So what the government and the police and the powers that be are doing now are going after people of, like I said, and it's men and women that are getting done, not just men, but anybody that's native, white and native, or even people that have got a pride in our nation over the age of 35. The police are going after you for anything. Any trumped up little charge, anything, any little misdemeanor that you do. And with that, although it I think it's been postponed, that two-tier judiciary thing that was supposed to come in on Tuesday, but they're coming for you. They're coming for you. They're coming for me. They're coming for your wife. They're coming for your anybody that is proud and that wants to save our nation from the ruin that it's becoming, and your nations in France, and your nations in Italy, and Sweden, and all those other countries, Germany particularly has a problem with it at the moment. Hence the rise of the AFD. I'm not sure, sorry. I've got it wrong. Sorry, I'm on a tangent. I don't have a script. But they want to get rid of the fighting aged men and women who will stand shoulder to shoulder, toe to toe with the enemy, shoulder to shoulder with our friends. We will have each other's backs, they will have our backs, and we will stand toe to toe with the enemy within. And the enemy within ranges from the illegal migrants, ranges from those that are being brought in to create the agitators, right through to some of the sad police force and the politics and the politicians and the king and the sovereign and anybody that is willing to bow down in the name of that religion of peace. So, ironically, because I won't stop, but ironically, I'm suggesting that we very carefully word our posts. We very carefully watch what we post, watch what we say. Try and do it. And if you're going to make an allegation, always put allegedly in front of it. Little things like that can just maybe keep you safe, because they will come after you for the slightest little thing. They will come after me for the slightest little thing. I don't know if it's the end is nigh or the new beginning is nigh. But trust me, there's something in the air, something in the water. Something is going to happen, and I predict it'll be towards the end of the school term. So I don't know if it's going to be a schooly thing or whether it's going to be a concert or a festival or something, but something big is going to happen, and it is going to turn this country and this nation and Europe as a whole, I think. So I think our brothers and sisters in Europe will realise that the time is now. Sorry, bit of everyone, bit of a long one. I hope everybody's okay. Please look after yourselves. Look after your friends, your neighbours, your elders, your relatives, kids around your table, people that you talk to on the phone or that you email across the world, close and far. Look after yourself. We need you. Stay safe, stay proud, and stay loud. Peace.